Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. I said to myself, I want a second live stream today because this is an interesting topic. And we had a first live stream earlier today. It was pretty good. We always have a great time. Eric and Luke, thank you so very much. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526. Thank you for being amazing moderators. To my super chat, I just want to thank you for your support on this channel. And if you want to talk about your questions or concerns regarding John Durham or the fact that you don't think it's going to happen, or bring up anything pertaining to this topic, definitely let me know via super chat if you'd like. Number one, I'll say this. There are going to be indictments eventually, in addition to Kevin Clinesmith. I can't tell you if it's James Comey or Clapper or Brennan. We know that they lied under oath. Okay, so Brennan already lied under oath. So did Clapper. You can just type in Brennan, perjury, The Guardian, CIA, Director John Brennan lied to you and to the Senate, fire him. So this is by Trevor Tim in The Guardian, 2014. Okay, there are numerous articles. That's John Brennan. And Washington Post, 2014, Obama should fire John Brennan. This is long before, ladies and gentlemen, the groupthink that took over the Washington Post and American politics in general. You'll never get that type of article in the Washington Post. Let's see, when did... What's his name by the Washington Post? You will never get that type of article, by the way, in the Washington Post. So you had The Guardian, you had the Washington Post acknowledging that John Brennan did lie under oath, okay? He lied under oath. That's called perjury, okay? This is regarding Tucker Carlson brought it up regarding surveillance of Dianne Feinstein during President Obama's administration. So when they talk about the post-truth moment, and oh my God, the same people who went after President Trump could easily be, well, the statute of limitations might have run out. But let's see. So this is right around the time that Bezos bought the Washington Post. They still had decent, normal journalism. It wasn't an extension of the Democratic Party. So you had articles saying, hey, you know what? Brennan, who lied under oath, should be held accountable. So that's just one reason you'll probably find more than just Kevin Clinesmith, almost certainly with the Durham probe. Okay? You know that these people were... Everyone knows they were politically motivated. Everyone knows this had nothing to do with the rule of law. Even Democrats. Democrats or media that obsess over taking down Trump believe that this was... They've convinced themselves to believe that it's completely nonpartisan and that these people are impartial, even though they show up on CNN and MSNBC. The moment anyone shows up on Fox News, it's, oh my God, he's totally compromised. Oh my God, he's an alt-right type person. So Clapper also lied under oath, and that was with the Snowden revelations. We knew that. Lawmakers renew calls, U.S. News. For James Clapper perjury charges. That's in 2016. After 2016, you don't get articles like this. You do not get articles like this. And then you have, oh my God, Trump lies so much, he takes it to a new level. It's like, no, he doesn't. And most of what he said, a lot of what he said is perhaps hyperbolic, pertaining to achievements primarily, but he told the truth. He never worked with Russia. And he told the truth. He never pressured Zelensky. And he told the truth. He had nothing to do directly. He didn't tell anyone to do anything in January. So, but you have two of the major culprits in all of this who lied under oath, and there are a great deal of, you have articles, the public record, their own testimony, with Brennan with surveillance, unlawful, illegal surveillance of a Democratic senator's attempt at finding out what potential crimes within the Bush administration. Then you have, so not only do you have John Brennan and James Clapper, and Clapper told Chuck Todd in 2017, by the way, he said, yeah, there's no evidence. We have no evidence that Trump worked with Russia. We're going to investigate anyway. So you have Brennan lying under oath, committing perjury pertaining to, and it's the Washington Post even published articles on it, pertaining to unlawful surveillance and lying about that under oath. You have Clapper, and you have U.S. News and other articles saying lawmakers renew calls for James Clapper perjury charges, who lied about surveillance of American citizens, and right after he lied, we knew that he was not telling the truth because of the Snowden revelations. Then you have James Comey, who was accused of lying by Loretta Lynch, and Loretta Lynch, who's accused of lying by James Comey. So he had the audacity, or the Lynch disputes having directed Comey to categorize Clinton email probe as a matter. Now, do you remember when the Mueller probe was started and Comey cites Lynch-Clinton meeting for loss of faith? CNN, in injustice investigation. So, Comey stated under oath that the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, told him to call it a matter and tried to downplay or try to get him not to really investigate the Clinton email probe in the manner that he wanted to, which was complete nonsense, because he was almost certainly engaged in a cover-up, but he went after Loretta Lynch. He went after Attorney General Lynch because this gave him some kind of excuse to then have that press conference where he pretended there was no intent in using servers intentionally for 4 years with top secret and special access program intelligence. So, do you remember when the Mueller probe was started, everybody was up in arms. Oh my God. Oh my God. Could you imagine a sitting president telling his director not to investigate other people? It's like, well, the Attorney General apparently told Comey. That's what Comey said. The Attorney General apparently told Comey to just simply call it a matter, and then had a meeting with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren, which Comey cites at CNN. James Comey himself says that meeting caused him to lose faith in President Obama's Justice Department. Nobody ever questions why any of this is happening. Then Loretta Lynch says, no, Comey lied under oath. None of what he said was true at all. Okay? So then you have all of these people who are completely and utterly oblivious to potential wrongdoing in their own side. And ladies and gentlemen, I love you. I honestly, I have the best chat. I have the best comment section. I am so lucky and fortunate. But my God almighty, Nothing's ever gonna happen. Oh, nothing's ever gonna happen. They get away with everything. What do you expect? What do you expect? You had Republicans who turned on Trump. You have Mitt Romney, Jeff Sessions, the worst Republican of all time. People spent 2 years listening to an absurd message board I told them never to listen to. You just wait. He went to the bathroom in the snow, and it was an M. It was a sign. You don't even know. MNOP. It's right around the corner. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? It's a message board. Almost certainly run by Debbie Wasserman. I'm joking. You can watch the debate on hagoodman.com. I debated Jordan Sather and told the world in 2018 never to listen to absurd message boards. But during that time, everyone's like, you just wait. Justice is around the corner. Why? Because somebody on a message board said so. And now there's a special counsel. Just like Ken Starr, just like Robert Mueller. And everyone's like, no. Wake me up when something happens ever. It's like, well, it would be nice if there was some political will. I keep telling everybody, it's not that nothing's ever going to happen. It's that, the clapper. It's not that, exactly, Sandra. It's not that, nothing's going to ever happen. It's like, the issue is, you need some political will. You need a Republican Party. Like, the Democrats are the most blindly loyal, finely tuned political machine. They never question anything. You think they all believe that Trump worked with Russia? A lot of them didn't. You think Dianne Feinstein, you think Adam Schiff believes any of the stuff that he says? You think he believed Clinton didn't have private servers to hide communication? You think that he had information that he truly believed that Trump worked with Russia? Of course he didn't. He knew that it was all not. Of course. Okay, let's put it this way. Most of the Democrats know what they say is nonsense. Okay? But they just play ball. They just walk in lockstep. Republicans don't. You'll have Mittens Romney, or you'll have, you'll have Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and others who voted alongside Trump 90% of the time in Congress, and they're the good Republicans. Trump is a menace, a monster. Yes, I voted alongside him 90% of the time. They voted alongside Trump 90% of the time. How fake and phony can you be? But see, the thing is, like, once you have Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, Ron DeSantis, Devin Nunes, once you have these people running the Republican Party, okay, you will have the accountability that you want. You can't expect, ladies and gentlemen, you can't expect accountability right now. I mean, hopefully Durham comes out with a report tomorrow or next week. You have the Arizona recount. You have recounts everywhere. These are political or public relations, potentially political victories. President Biden's going to remain president until 2024. Trump is not coming in prior to 2024. Anyone who tells you this is not telling you the truth. But the recounts could serve as a tremendous political victory for people who question or wonder how on earth we can be in this situation with a dear leader that can't find his way out of I don't want to say it. Look, I don't want to be mean. But people look and they question just how popular this person is. They hear him speak and they question the official numbers. They also look at the New York mayoral contest. They look at Iowa in last year's Democratic primary. They look at Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigning in disgrace, and they say, okay, Democrats cheat. Media is in the tank, more so than I've ever seen in my life. Like 2016 was the cutoff. Prior to 2016, you could kind of have, like, you could find articles critical of the Democratic Party. You could. You could find articles like, hey, you know, Clapper and Brennan committed perjury, so what's Congress going to do about that? You could find those types of articles. You could definitely find those types of articles prior to 2016, okay? Or like 2016, after President Trump was inaugurated, it was a completely different story. You're not going to find all of media converged to prop up one narrative. All of media converged to prop up one viewpoint. And so you have an article that's in the description section. John Durham is one of the longest running investigations in American history. Okay? I'm not sure if it's longer than the Ken Starr investigation, but it just surpassed Mueller. And you should be interested in at least the potential. If you think that nothing's ever going to happen and Democrats get away with everything, the pendulum always swings like back and forth within American politics. 20 years ago, the Bush administration got away with everything. They were the worst. Bush was the worst president of all time. The worst president of all time. Took the most tragic and horrendous day in U.S. history and then promptly destabilized an entire region of the world, and the people who claimed to oppose him voted for Clinton and then Biden. You can't find bigger hypocrites than morally superior liberal Democrats who say, I opposed Bush, and then promptly vote for Biden and Clinton. Okay? You can't find people who are more hypocritical than that. Okay. Bruce Lee, come on. You can't find people who are more hypocritical than that. It's the height of hypocrisy. It really is. But you have, ladies and gentlemen, a special counsel. They already got Kevin Kleinsmith. So you have one indictment. So let me just read you. You have one indictment, but here, let's get back to Comey raises concerns about Loretta Lynch's independence. So look at the way this is written. Comey raises concerns about President Obama's Attorney General's independence. When it was William Barr, it was, oh my God, he's Trump's personal attorney. Nobody said that Attorney General Lynch was Clinton's personal attorney. It's always whenever there's ever a story, it could be about Hunter, it could be about Biden, it could be about Attorney General Loretta Lynch, it could be about Comey. There's no speculation, there's no hyperbole, there's no innuendo, there's nothing in terms of like extreme rhetoric. Comey raises concerns about Loretta Lynch's independence. This is what Durham is looking at. John Durham knows that the fix was in. He already tried cases where local or state government officials or bureau agents within Boston and Massachusetts broke the law. They utilized their positions within the federal government and state government to break the law. So he's already put away FBI agents, John Durham. But the way this is written, Comey raises concerns about Loretta Lynch's independence. If James Comey, you got to think about it this way. Michael the Archangel! Michael, thank you for being here, and thank you for joining, becoming a member. Thank you, Michael the Archangel. You got to ask yourself, do you think if John Durham is investigating, do you think an article like this would be important to him? Comey raises concerns about Loretta Lynch's independence. Do you think maybe he could see through that article? Do you think maybe he could actually see what the New York Times headline is trying to hide or trying to mitigate? The entire Mueller probe was predicated upon notes that Comey wrote that he was completely fabricated, almost certainly fabricated and made up. But, here you have Loretta Lynch saying that Comey lied under oath. That it was James Comey who was making things up. That she never told him anything. Okay? Trump never got the benefit of the doubt because he said, yeah, I never told Comey anything either. James Comey is like this person who can't keep his mouth. He can't. He's always trying to trying to give information about other people. He's always leaking information. James B. Comey, the former director, said on Thursday that President Obama's Attorney General sought in 2015 to play down the significance of an investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. How is this different from what Comey stated with Trump? Trump said, don't investigate Michael Flynn. Oh, my God. How is this different from Trump saying, take it easy on Michael Flynn, even if he said that? How is that different? Because Comey is actually saying that he doesn't trust President Obama's Attorney General. He literally stated, that's the reason I didn't, whether it was the, the meeting, the tarmac meeting, or the fact that she allegedly told him that to call it a matter. He stated under oath that he did not trust her objectivity, or the fact that she was nonpartisan or impartial. In his wide-ranging testimony to the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mr. Comey said the request by that Attorney General led him to question her independence. So where were the articles saying, President Obama's personal attorney? Look at what they did to William Barr. And he didn't even really help Trump that much, if at all. A little bit towards the Mueller probe report, which basically he told the truth about the Mueller probe report, which found nothing, absolutely, positively nothing. What did they find? Well, he found contacts. Okay, great. Why wasn't anyone indicted for working alongside Russian intelligence officials? Nobody was. And then you have Attorney General Loretta Lynch disputes having directed Comey to categorize Clinton email probe as a matter. She stated that he lied under oath. So you have Attorney General, this is easy for John Durham. It's not difficult at all. You have Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who has accused Comey of perjury. You have Comey, who has essentially accused the Attorney General of perjury. You have Brennan, who committed perjury years back. You have Clapper, who committed perjury years back. And this is not like, you said something to an agent and the 302s. You can meet an FBI official or agent and have an interrogation. You can tell them the absolute truth, and then they could say you lied, and you'd have to prove that you didn't lie because they don't record the interaction. This is not like that. And initially, Michael Flynn, they said he didn't lie at all. And they didn't even have a reason to meet with him. It was complete entrapment. They already looked at the transcripts with Sergei Kislyak. They already looked at the transcripts. Thank you, Mark. They already looked at the transcripts and they found nothing. So why did they meet with him? They met with him just to take down Trump. And this is why the morally superior, oftentimes apoplectic liberal Democrats, what they've done is they've sold their souls simply to go after and torment Trump, because they view him as this monster, because he doesn't, there are things he shouldn't have said. It's true. I agree with that. But the main point is he does not care. He doesn't revere government. He doesn't care about their sensibilities. He points out their hypocrisy, and he points out the injustices that take place within government, or the corruption. He's pointed out corruption numerous times. The Russia probe is an example. They convinced themselves for 4 years that all the people who investigated Trump were completely apolitical, and it was all about the rule of law. The opposite is true. It was never about the rule of law. It was only about tormenting Trump. That's it. That's why they can't get him on Trump Russia. That's why they never got him on anything to do with Trump Russia, because they fabricated everything. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Appleton, Wisconsin, USA. Tiger or Tig, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so very, 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 very much. I appreciate that. Let me know, please, how to pronounce your name correctly, but I do appreciate that very much. Very much. Thank you so much. Tig, thank you so very, very much. I greatly, greatly appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. So, Tig, let me know how to pronounce your name. I'm not 100% sure, but I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you so very much. Appleton, Wisconsin, USA. Nice. Thank you so much. Then you have, let's see, no direct evidence. Clapper, Chuck Todd. Okay, so Clapper, there's no direct evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. So that was in 2017. March 5th, 2017. Then you have PolitiFact, Donald Trump's mostly false claim. Says James Clapper and virtually everyone else said there was no collusion in the Russia investigation findings. How is that mostly false? How on earth? This is why PolitiFact is it's usually misleading, or they're the ones who are false. Donald Trump's mostly false claim that James Clapper said no collusion found in Russia probe. There was no collusion found in the Russia probe. Trump appeared to be referring to Clapper's statement in Meet the Press interview. 2 months earlier, Clapper's office released a report expressed with high confidence. So what? That does not refute the claim that there's no evidence. Saying that there's high confidence of something is not evidence of something. It's just an opinion. You don't say, I'm highly confident the person stole my briefcase. Okay, you're off to jail. So, then you have, oh my God, our ruling. This is hilarious. PolitiFact, our ruling. Tig, thank you again. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but thank you again. I do appreciate it very much. Thank you. Wayne, thank you. So, and thank you for watching in the uploads as well. Tig, thank you. So our ruling, Trump said when Clapper himself and virtually everyone else with knowledge says there is no collusion, when does it end? So what's wrong with that statement? They did say there was no collusion. They essentially stated that when they said there's high confidence and we're looking into it and everything else, but we have evidence of collusion. So some of the public statements by those with knowledge of the investigation do not support Trump's claim that virtually everyone... Oh my God, this is hilarious. A tiny amount of hyperbole. This is now they're the word police, the grammar police, semantic. They're the secret semantic police, or the semantic. I don't know, like virtually. So that does not support the claim that virtually everyone privy to the probe. So there's no evidence of collusion. Yeah, no one has come out with evidence of collusion. Everyone has said exactly that there was no evidence, or we think there is, but we can't show any. While Comey has not described specific evidence, he has confirmed that sufficient credible information exists. What? For the FBI to consider the Russia probe? That's his opinion. That's his opinion. He has confirmed, and he has not confirmed anything. You don't confirm your opinion that evidence exists to start an investigation when there's no evidence you can show people of any wrongdoing. This is basic logic. Basic logic. You would have to have no brain cells working to just completely take this at face value. We rate Trump's statement mostly false. It's actually mostly true. It was literally mostly true. Nobody had any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, and Mueller highlighted that with an exclamation point with a report that said, yeah, nobody was ever indicted. We couldn't indict anyone on even campaign finance violations. Like, you could at least, you could say, oh, well, it's a campaign finance violation to pay for a Facebook ad. They couldn't even find anything on that. Tag, thank you again. As for Clapper's statement, it's apparent Trump has twisted the former DNI's words to make it appear as if he's ruled out the possibility that evidence exists. What? Showing the Trump campaign colluded with Russia interlopers? He didn't. What? He literally stated, Clapper literally stated, there's no direct evidence, there's no evidence at that point that Trump worked with Russia. Then PolitiFact says Donald Trump repeating Clapper is not accurate because he didn't repeat Clapper verbatim. So it's mostly false, even though what Trump said is actually true. There was no evidence. There was never any evidence. The only thing they had is high confidence. And even James Clapper stated categorically to Chuck Todd, it's actually in the NBC News, no evidence of collusion. Full Clapper. It literally states no evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia. Then PolitiFact says what Trump said was mostly false because he stated that Clapper admitted there was no evidence. That's exactly what the NBC News article says in the actual interview. But see, that's the thing. Durham knows. John Durham is smart enough to understand how he just simply has to get them in an actual lie linked to their never-ending quest to take down Trump. It shouldn't be difficult. He's privy to communication, government communication. It shouldn't be difficult at all. You already have somebody who was indicted on lying to FISA agents. And you don't investigate based on a high confidence assessment where you're making claims without proving them. You don't investigate there was no peaceful transition of power. Look, they claim that Trump, there was no peaceful transition of power. They're the ones who did not transfer the Oval Office peacefully. They're the ones who investigated President Trump in a manner that no other candidate, no other incoming president has ever been investigated. They did so because they politicized the intelligence agencies against a political rival, a direct political rival. It was completely the antithesis of the rule of law. They did so to torment Trump and for public relations. Then we had record low unemployment in 2018, and they got the House primarily because of never-ending negative media coverage, this frenzy on Trump-Russia. But Clapper's statement that he had no knowledge of collusion, not that collusion didn't occur. Clapper's statement was that he had no knowledge of collusion, not that collusion didn't occur. And now you're getting into, this is like this petulant semantic game. You're holding Trump to a standard you would never hold any other politician to. Anita Eddy, thank you. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Anita Eddy, thank you. Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Anita, thank you. Tig, thank you. You're holding Trump. PolitiFact holds Trump to a standard that they do not hold other politicians, especially Democratic politicians. Okay? And it's like, here's an example of a PolitiFact article. If you want to get into semantics, it's actually mostly true. But yeah, Trump didn't say, Clapper didn't say there was no collusion. He just said there was no evidence that he's seen. There's no evidence, he says. But he was the director of national intelligence. So he was aware and privy to all the information possible. The director of national intelligence, the ODNI, has to synthesize all the, I've been right about literally everything. From Trump Russia being nonsense to Clinton losing to Trump never pressuring Zelensky to Hunter, those emails being linked to pay to play. So, yeah. The people that you probably watch, I'm speaking to somebody that was taken off the chat, were literally wrong about everything. From Trump Russia, every single day CNN and MSNBC would say that, Clinton was going to win, which she didn't, which I said she wouldn't. I said Trump would win if it was Clinton versus Trump. There's articles in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon. I said that. Everybody that you probably watched, or I don't know, people who watch CNN or TYT or whatever, said, oh yeah, Clinton is going to win in a landslide. Wrong. Then they said Trump worked with Russia. Wrong. He didn't work with Russia. Then they said Trump pressured people. Wrong. He didn't pressure anybody. That's why they couldn't get him on a legal statute. So, it's interesting. It's interesting. You go out on a limb on a couple of things, and then they forget that the people they watch have been infinitely worse at predicting things than I have. My track record is infinitely better. I didn't do a million episodes on Trump being indicted because he worked with Russia. And if Clinton wasn't indicted, that's because Comey almost certainly covered everything up. You don't own servers for 4 years because you don't intentionally own them. But then again, you're talking about people, either lifelong Democrats or who are on the left, who think that there's a difference between the CNN pundits or the left-leaning pundit they listen to on YouTube. There's no difference at all. The difference, the vote blue no matter who crowd, is the same type of person. It doesn't matter if they're far left ideologues or socialists or democratic socialists. They're the same person as the person on CNN or MSNBC if they're vote blue no matter who. If you always vote Democrat no matter what, you are a mindless ideologue that will pretend that you're doing something out of based on morality, but it's actually immoral when you try to convince yourself simply to be like you try to convince yourself that you're moral, but you always show blind allegiance to a political party that doesn't care about you. And you will justify voting for a person who's the antithesis of your alleged value system. So there you go. So I mean, compared to most of the people on the left, I've been right about literally everything. And the things that I haven't been right about, very bizarre occurrences have taken place. So I had the pulse of what was going on. Like, the worst thing somebody could say about me was he thought Clinton was going to be the nominee. So what? Or he thought Clinton was going to get indicted. Yeah, James Comey obviously was in the tank for the Democratic Party. That's obvious. It wasn't obvious back then. I was perhaps naive. Then Clinton becoming nominee, who would have believed that somebody who slurs his speech all the time would have such a resounding victory? My God. Wow, I guess I was really wrong about that. But I was right that Trump never worked with Russia, which is what every pundit on the left stated for 4 years. So I was 100% right about that. Why am I going on about this? There was somebody that, thank God, quick draw, Luke St. Martin. There was somebody that Luke St. Martin, thankfully, hid from the chat. And so I'm responding to that. To the person's accusation there. Who knows? Paul Bartlett. Yeah, I decided to just do a quick live stream in the evening. I felt like. But it's interesting to me, like, the people who are like, you've been wrong about everything. About what? Well, Clinton wasn't indicted. Yeah, should she have been? Well, that's not the point. Oh, you're a lifelong Democrat. You'll always vote blue no matter how. Okay. So you don't care that, like, actual crimes were committed, so that you have to fabricate crimes with Trump to make everything morally relative in this Clintonian morality you live within. Then, like, the worst thing that I ever did was say that Clinton will be nominee. So what? What does it matter? You could have Humpty Dumpty or Gumby, or you can have, like, the pen you're holding or Scotch tape as nominee for Democratic for the Democrat. They'll still vote for the object or the person. It doesn't matter. They have a blind allegiance. What does it matter? You said Clinton would be nominee. Oh, it didn't happen. Yeah, I know. Why do you think it didn't happen? Why do you think it didn't happen? Because people are petrified of her. And okay, because Democrats didn't want her. They didn't think she could win, but they were saying that she would win in a landslide in 2016. So why didn't, at least she can communicate. Looking at it objectively, wouldn't Hillary Clinton be better than Joe Biden? I mean, not in terms of policies. Even I would say that. But don't you think she would be a better candidate? Just look at the two of them. Don't you think Hillary Clinton would be a much better candidate than Joe Biden? One can communicate, one not so much. So it was rational and logical. But everything worked out in the end, so what's the problem? Anyway. Gronak the Destroyer! I'm not exactly sure, Gronak. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But because of just YouTube policies, I apologize. I have to remove the message. I don't know what that means. I just have to remove the message just because of YouTube policies. So I want to err on the side of caution pertaining to. I don't know what that means. Ginormous 228, thank you. Bud Drake, thank you. Insubordinate, thank you. Gronak, I apologize. But I had to just to err on the side of caution. Mark, I agree. But it's like anyone, Gronak, thank you. I do apologize. I had to delete the message, but I just because of YouTube policies. It's interesting, like the grift is telling people to vote Democrat even though you know they're worse. Or the grift is pretending that Democrats are better even though they'll never. The whole selling point is Medicare for all, Green New Deal. They'll never implement any of that stuff. And they have a more hawkish, militant foreign policy. You say, well, Biden's bringing home Americans. No, he's not. That's Trump. President Trump is the reason. That was a moral imperative to vote for President Trump if you want Americans brought home. He gave his voters something. He negotiated a deal to get us out of America's longest-running military conflict. So that was Trump. And it's interesting that the grift, the most lucrative, I could be right now at 500 to 600,000 subs. I could be published in a bunch of publications had I simply done a 180 for money in the most despicable manner. But I could have said, you know what? I'm a former Bernie bro who realizes that, or like became a Trump supporter and I realized my mistake. Here's why. Oh my God. I could have been on CNN. And I was already on CNN, MSNBC when I was writing, that Bernie Sanders was better than Clinton. Bernie was part of the whole racket to begin with. I didn't know that back then. Oh my God, the grift, the actual lucrative. See, the thing is, a lot of the people who call others grifters, they don't really understand how to make money. So they don't understand how media works or how you could make a lot of money being somebody or not. They think that because you go from Bernie Sanders to Trump, like 10 to 15% of Bernie voters, that you're doing it for ulterior motives. No, there's not. It's not lucrative to always continually go upstream. I mean, thank God I'm doing okay. And it's funded primarily by my viewers, the channel and my work. But the grift, the racket is CNN, MSNBC, and all the left-leaning pundits who just parrot the same stories, the same exact stories, or they pretend to be morally superior, while at the same time defending themselves from discrimination lawsuits. But there's no way, I don't think there's any way that Durham is not going to find people to indict. Whether I don't know if they're going to get prison time. Like they could get a slap on the wrist like Kleinsmith. Like you see the double standard too. Like he's getting his law license. I think it was only suspended for like a year, something like that. I forgot exactly what. Anyone associated with Trump, they try to shun. This is a very vapid moment in American politics. Anita Eddy! Anita, you are amazing. You are amazing, Anita. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Anita. It's so kind of you. Thank you so much, Anita Eddy. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Anita. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, Anita and everybody here, you're going to have, there's definitely something on the horizon, something cooking, or something like being John Durham is a pretty, you look at his let's look at justice.gov. Okay. Time magazine, meet John Durham, the investigator of the investigating the investigators. I don't know why they find that so bizarre. Why would you investigate the investigators? I mean, the investigators were investigating for a reason. Anita, thank you again. Donald Trump's fixation on the... don't you love this? It's like you could never... This is Time magazine. I mean, I swear to God, every article, it's never written like, oh, it's just like every article. Donald Trump's fixation on the Mueller investigation. Yeah, well, he was set up and framed, so sorry for him being fixated. And Ukraine's role, pitch Twitter spats, But the man on the Justice Department in charge of the origins is a longtime federal prosecutor, John Durham. A man known for his modesty and restraint. He did some pretty... let's see, in Boston. So, in 1999, then Attorney General Reno appointed Durham to investigate Boston police and FBI agents' connections to the famous mob boss. Okay, the infamous mob boss. Okay, Durham uncovered evidence of corrupt law enforcement officials who've been giving information to the criminals and helped convict one former FBI agent on federal racketeering charges. So he's already convicted. Well, he's convicted now 2 FBI officials. Michael the Archangel! Anita, thank you. Ty, thank you. Michael the Archangel, a little over $10 at a current conversion. Thank you so very much. Hey, don't... This is currency. I love the Philippines. The U.S., however, everyone's a millionaire with a 30s depression. Exactly. Michael the Archangel. Thank you so very, very much. Michael the Archangel, thank you. Thank you for watching. To my viewers in the Philippines, thank you so very much. I know that I have viewers in the Philippines. I'm very honored and happy. I have viewers in India, the Philippines, Nigeria. I'm just so happy. And I'm very honored, and I'm just so, very, very thankful. Michael the Archangel, thank you so much. Anita, thank you so much. So he's already indicted he's already indicted 2 FBI officials. So it's not like he hasn't, Michael the Archangel, thank you again. Greatly, greatly appreciated. It's not like people saying, nothing's ever going to happen. Nothing's ever gonna happen. It's like it's one of the longest running special counsels. I think Ken Starr. I think it's longer than the Watergate special counsel. Longer, almost as long as Ken Starr's. You're going to, this isn't difficult. What he needs, it's probably going to go into 2022. If he can just wait until midterms of 2022, he'll have a Republican House of Representatives that will back him. These are Trump Republicans that will back him. And so the interesting thing is he's going uphill. Thank you. Thank you, Michael the Archangel. Thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. When you're swimming upstream, always like Durham, like the Durham probe, you have to understand the level of bias, the contempt and disdain, the dislike of Trump. The main thing with Trump, he didn't get us into a war or anything like that. What did this man do? His personality, they don't like his personality. They can't stand him as a person because he's the antithesis of who they are. He doesn't revere he doesn't revere government. He doesn't care about their sensibilities. He doesn't care about their the way they do business or the way that, like, he calls them out for the hypocrites they are. These people, they always cancel others, but when the social guillotine comes for them, they say, "Oh my God, oh please forgive me." And it's like, what is the point of finding 10-year-old tweets? What is the point of doing that? There's no point. There's no point. So, in many respects, President Trump, like, he doesn't revere the intelligence community, the same people that set him up and framed him. He fights back. So if they try to go after him based on lies, he'll fight back. Bernie Sanders is the opposite. Bernie Sanders was cheated. See, this is how the left works. Not everybody. Jimmy Dore is genuine and honest, and he doesn't, like... I have a great deal of respect for Jimmy Dore. I think that he's a very honest human being. I disagree with numerous vantage points at this point now in my life with Jimmy, but I think that he is an honest human being. But see, he didn't play ball with the Democratic Party. You can look on the opposite side of the political spectrum. Trump doesn't care. He didn't play ball. He came in. They set him up and framed him, and now he has John Durham. He's fighting back. He fell for a social media trap, so he constantly went after he constantly took like a baseball bat and just smashed this hornet's nest of indignation all the time. And it wasn't good in terms of J-Hold, hello. It wasn't good in terms of it gave them political momentum. That's the issue. Insubordinate, hello. Thank you, I appreciate that. The issue with Trump is that they never had any arguments against him, really. They just didn't like his personality. He presided over record low unemployment for most of his tenure, or around at least half of his tenure, or around half, which is still good, very good. You had wages increasing. You had an economy doing very well. They couldn't focus on that. Every journalist had a politically motivated slant on Trump. And this is what I don't understand. People who are intelligent individuals, they make these judgments about Trump, and they say he's a horrible human being. Well, he didn't start a NATO intervention. He didn't lead a NATO intervention that turned a country into a failed state. He didn't do that. That was President Obama. He didn't destabilize an entire region of the world. That was Bush. Okay? He wasn't in the Oval Office with, oh, don't bring that up again. That's not my fault. So, what did this man do? And then you have Twitter. See, without Twitter, you don't have a Democratic Party. You simply don't have a Democratic Party without Twitter. Because Twitter is like this dystopian reality that allows every bizarre talking point. Trump worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads, and he pressured Zelensky, and all of these things. Every bizarre viewpoint that is baseless. See, they make baseless allegations against Trump, But because all the smartest people in the room, allegedly, which they're not, but they think of themselves as the smartest people in the room, they're all making the same accusation, so they think it's rational or relevant. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to look right here. President Trump, he's on his way back in terms of, the campaign trail for 2024. He's on his way back. I want to thank you so much, J. Hill. Thank you. He's on his way back. We'll see. It'll be very interesting. Then they're trying to today, this was hilarious. They're trying to say that DeSantis and Trump were at odds. Like, what? Why? What? Where did this come? DeSantis parts with Trump in response to tragedy. What? Trump and DeSantis are on a collision course. In public, it's all smiles, but behind the scenes, Republicans are already preparing themselves for a showdown between former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. I like DeSantis a lot. If it's a showdown between Trump and DeSantis, you're looking at a Ferrari versus a Nissan. So I don't know what they. I mean, it is a slow news day. DeSantis parts with Trump. The Associated Press, he later, this is DeSantis cracked down on protesters advocating justice. Advocating justice. Oh my God. Okay, yes, maybe the majority were. And then his crackdown was probably related to issues similar to the $1 to $2 billion in property damage, or in 25 lives lost. Everything's public relations, my God. Exactly, Michael the Archangel, exactly.
Jay Fisher, I want to thank you so very much for spending this time with us. This is Mitchell McConnell. Before I leave, I want to do a Mitchell McConnell imitation.
I can't do it. I don't have it tonight. I have a little bit of it. So they're trying to make this rivalry between DeSantis and Trump. It's like there is no rivalry. If anything, DeSantis should be Trump's vice president, or Ben Carson. Republicans, what they're going to do throughout the country, what they're doing now, is they're addressing pandemic-related reforms. Laws or protocols related to science and safety. We're not going to have, hopefully, we're not going to have the same issue. Thank you. Ginormous228, thank you. Jake, thank you. We're not going to have the same issue. So therefore, a focus on integrity might be what Republicans focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much. Anita, Michael the Archangel, Tig, everybody here, Gronak, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I will be back tomorrow at about 3 p.m. Pacific. Be here at about 3 p.m. Pacific, everybody, for the live stream. And I just want to thank you to my super chat. Thank you so much. And I'll be back tomorrow, everyone. So now I guess I'm doing either 3 uploads on this channel and 1 live stream, or 2 live streams and 2 uploads. But always check the channel throughout the day, because sometimes, you don't get notification. But to my viewers, thanks so much. Eric and Luke, Everyone give them a lot of love, everybody. And Bud, thank you. Ronald, thank you. And Sandra, hello. And have a great evening. Have a great